Hello friends, this is Amir Malik. Today we are going to discuss few codes related to lists, like related to arrays. Okay, the first code is we have to create a procedure and basically it is intended to return the least value in a list. So the very first element of the array, whichever is the very first element of the array at index 0, that should be assigned to the variable men, and then a loop will be executed and it will check every element of the array, and if the element is less than the value min, it will return that element number. Otherwise it will return the final min value. So we have like few lists to call this this function, and we have like elements in different order. So let's check its code. So this is Java code for the previous pseudocode. Here you can see that we have two methods, main method and the smallest method. In the smallest method, we have one parameter and we can assign it some array, some list, a variable min, and the very first element of the array is assigned to it. And then we are using a loop, and in the loop, if the element is less than the value min, then it will return the element, otherwise it will return the min. And we are giving it like these arrays, and it will call the method smallest with this array, and this array will be passed to this method, and it will return the least value or the smallest value. Okay, so let's run the code, and it should give us the value 1, because 1 is the least value in this list. Yes, we got it. So it is working. Okay, let's check with some other values. So just I'm going to change the order, and let's see what is the answer now. Okay, so 2 1 4 5, the answer should be 1. Yes, the answer is 1. Okay, let's change the order again, and okay, now the smallest answer should be 4. Okay, run it, and the answer is 4. Yes, it is correct. Okay, let's run it again with a different data set, different values. 10 8 5 4 4 should be the answer. Oops, 8. How 8 is the smallest number? Means the code is not working well. It was working fine for few like data sets, but not for all. It means there is a problem with the code. Okay, let's check the code. So the very first element 10, it is at index 0, it is assigned to min, and now each element will be compared with this 10. So the loop will be executed very first time, and the element is 8 now. Element is less than min. Yes, it is less than min, so it will return element. And the return statement, whenever you reach at the return statement, it will instantly take you back to the method from where it was called. So the second value 8, because it was less than the element, so the condition is true, like element is less than min, so it will return the element, and the element is 8, so that's why 8 is returned here. If I just change the value like 12, now like the min is 10, the very first element min, it is 10. Now the first element is 12, because it is not less than min, so it will not return an element, and it will go and check the next element. Next element is 5, so 5 is less than 10, so it will return element which is 5. So it will not even go to the 4, because you reach at the return statement and it will return 5 values. Okay, I'm gonna run it, and the answer is 5. So we have to fix it. So how can we fix it? First thing is we should not use this statement here. We should use if element is less than min, then what should be done? Basically, the value of min should be changed, and whatever if like element is less than min, the value of new min should be element. So if element is less than min, then the value of min will be changed, and the value of element will be assigned to min. Okay, now I'm going to run it, and 10, 12, 5, 4. Yes, 4 is the smallest value. Now everything is correct. Even if we change the order, 4, 2, 5, and 14. So order is different now. Everything is working fine. 2 will be returned. And see, because we have changed this. Now it will check every element. If element is less than the very first element, the value of min will be changed, and it will check every element of the list, and finally it will return the value of min. If the last value is the smallest one, okay, now run it, and it should give the right answer. And yes, it gives us the right answer. So this is the way you can find out the smallest value or the largest value in a list. If you want to check the largest value, you just need to change this sign less than. You have to replace it with greater than sign, use a different variable like max, otherwise everything will be same. Okay, so that was code number 1. Okay, our next code is if we have to find out the sum of all elements of an array, a one-dimensional array. For example, we have we have one array, my array, with the values 2, 4, 5, and 6. And here we have another method which is basically intended to return the sum of all the elements of an array, and we need to pass it with one array. So in the main method, we have declared the array with values 2, 4, 5, and 6, and then we are calling array sum, and we are giving it my array as the argument. So this my array is we are going to pass this array to the method array sum. In the array sum, the value of sum is 0 because initially there is nothing saved in the variable sum. Now we are going to check by using this iteration, by using this loop, enhanced for loop, to check every element of the array, and sum is equal to sum plus element, or we can write it in the way sum plus equal is equal to element, or we can write it in a different way like sum is equal to sum plus element. Both conditions are correct, so you can write it in either way. So I'm just making it a comment. So you can use any condition to get the sum of all elements. So first of all, it will take the value 2, and like sum is 0, so 0 plus 2, the answer will be 2. Then next element, so now the sum is 2, the next element is 4, so 4 plus 2, 6. So the new value of sum will be 6, and then 6 plus 5, 11, and then 11 plus 6, 17, and the loop is done. So it will come to this point, return the value of sum, and the value of sum will be 17. It will be and the value return statement takes you back to the value from where it was called. So it will take you here, and it will return the value which was 17. So let me run the program, and it will give you the value 17. Sum of the array is 17. Okay, now I'm going to change values, like I'm going to make it like 10, and again 10, and then 15, and then 15. So 15 plus 15, 30, 30 plus 10, 40, 40 plus 10, 50. So the answer should be 50. Okay, let's run it, and here is the code. 50, sum of the array is 50. So this is the way you can find out sum of all the elements of an array. My next code is a kind of extension to the previous code. Like in the previous code, we calculated the sum of all elements of an array, and in this code, we are going to find out sum of each row of a 2D array. Like you know that in a 2D array, every row is basically a kind of separate array. So you can find out like if a list is like 2 4 5 6 1 2 4 2 3 2 4 5, so the sum of all arrays should be printed. So okay, so first of all, in the main method, I'm asking the user that how many rows in the program, how many columns in how many rows in the array, 2D array, how many columns in the 2D array. And because we have to take values from the user, so that's why we have to import this scanner class. So import java.util.scanner should be written at the start. So the user will give a value in the number of rows. It will be stored in the variable ro. The number of columns will be stored in the variable col. And now you will declare a 2D array, int my 2D is equal to new int, and rows is equal to ro, and columns is equal to col. The values stored, for example, if user gives 3 in row and 3 in column, then it will be a 2D array of 3 rows and 3 columns, and 3 will be stored here and 3 will be stored here. Now it will ask the user to enter the values, and in a loop, obviously in a nested loop, where the outer loop is for the rows and inner loop is for the columns, and outer loop should iterate less than the value of ro because it starts from 0. So for example, if user gives 3, then it should iterate through 0, 1 and 2. 2 is less than 3. So A should be less than the number of rows, B should be less than the number of columns, and whatever the value given by the user will be stored at that index of the 2D array. So the values are stored here, and now I'm going to print all the values of the array, of the 2D array, in this loop. In this loop, all the values will be printed. The same nested loop, A is less than number of rows, B is less than number of columns, and it will print every value of the 2D array. And we have used this print statement just to give it a grid kind of display. Otherwise all the values will be stored in either one row or one column, so it will not be printed in a grid way. So just to print them in a grid way, we have changed the print statements a little bit. So after printing every row, it will move to the next row, and then it will iterate again and will print the next row, and then next it will go to the next row. The cursor will move to the next blank row, and next row will be printed on the new row. So it will give 2D array a kind of grid view. Now we are calling the same rows sum method we created in the previous code. So this method will be called where every row will be basically summed up, and we are giving it my 2D, like the array we have already declared here, as the parameter. So now where is row sum? So this is the method rows sum. This is the method row sums from this point to this point. So in this method, we are using public static void main method, public static void row sum method, and the parameter is obviously a 2D array. And then we have created a different array, a one-dimensional array. Basically the program, what the program is doing is it will add all the values of one row, like of all the rows of the 2D array, and then those sum values will be stored in a separate one-dimensional array. For example, if the sum of first row is 15, sum of second row is 25, and sum of third row is 37, then 15, 25 and 37 will be stored in a separate one-dimensional array, and finally we need to print that array. So Initially, because row num is equal to 0, so we have to find out how to basically to sum every row. So we are passing it every row as a variable of array 2D, and sum of for adding up the first row, we are calling the method array sum. That is the method we created in the previous program. So when the first row will be when we have to add the first row, for example, the first row is 2 5 6, so we have to add 2 plus 5 plus 6, so it will call the method array sum. So here is the array sum we discussed in the previous program. It just calculates every element of the array. So 2 plus 5 plus 6, so 2 plus 5 7, 7 plus 6 13. So 13 will be stored at the 0 indexed of the row we have just created, sums. Sums is the single, like one-dimensional array, and the very first element will be stored here, and then it will iterate again. It will add the second row of the loop of the array, and then it will add the third row of the 2D array, and all the values, all three values will be stored in the sums list, which is a one-dimensional list, and finally it will print it. So let's run the program. Okay, so first of all it will ask how many rows. Okay, I say 3 rows, and how many columns? 3 columns. Okay, so now I have to give values for like 13 rows and 3 rows and 3 columns, so 3 3s and 9, so 9 values should be given. So I'm giving it 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. So basically 1 2 3 will be saved in first row, 4 5 6 in the second row, and 7 8 9 in the third row. So 1 plus 2 plus 3, that will be the sum of the first row. So 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 1 6. So the sum of first row should be 6. Second row 6 plus 5 plus 4, so the answer should be 15. And third row should be 7 plus 8 plus 9. Okay, so I'm just pressing enter, and see the array is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and sum of all the rows are 6, 3 plus 2 plus 1 6, 4 5 6 15, and 7 8 9 24. So this is the final answer. So this is the way you can calculate sum of each row of a 2D array. So okay, let's run it again, and now okay, so how many rows? This time I'm saying 3 rows. How many columns? 4 columns. So 3 rows with 4 columns, and 4 3s are 12, so I have to enter 12 values. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. So the first row, because there are 3 rows, so the first row will be 1 2 3 4, because there are 4 columns. Second row will be 5 6 7 8, and third row will be 9 10 11 and 12. So first row is 1 2 3 4, the sum should be 4 plus 3 7, 7 plus 2 9, 9 plus 1 10. So 1 2 3 4, the sum should be 10. Second row should be 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8, and third row should be 9 plus 10 plus 11 and 12. So all these 3 sums should be stored in a separate one-dimensional array. So I'm just pressing enter. So the 2D array is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12, and some of the rows are 10 26 and 42. So here is the code, and you can see in the main method I have just declared 2D array, and I have taken the values of the 2D array. I've printed the 2D array, and then I called the method which will calculate each row of the 2D array, and this is row sum method, and it will basically check every row, and for every row it will call the array sum method, which is basically this method calculates every element of one row. So for every row, you can see it here, For every row, this method will be called and it will return the sum of the row, and the sum of the row will be stored in the one-dimensional array we have just created here in the same method. So this is the way you can calculate sum of each row of a 2D array. I hope it will help you out for your own codes and for your own programs. So guys, if you like my codes, please do watch my videos, do like my videos, and if you have any queries, if you want any specific codes for me to make for you, you can write it in the comment section. And the most important thing is, don't forget to subscribe my video channel, my YouTube channel. This is for you. In the next video, I'll come with something new about Java. Till next time, take care of yourself and have a nice day.